fatal bear attack in northern Saskatchewan. What the province says about the animals suspected in the encounter. Production at a Saskatchewan sawmill to be cut. The impact the layoffs will have on the surrounding community. And back to Batoche, a look at the Métis celebration swinging into high gear.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We are learning more tonight about the investigation into the death of two people following a wildlife encounter. As Keenan Sorokon reports, the details are sparse as officials try to piece together what happened.
Two people are dead after an encounter with a bear at an isolated lake in northern Saskatchewan. LaRange RCMP were called to McTavish Lake, about 90 kilometers north of LaRange, for a wellness check at a cabin on Wednesday. They soon found two people dead from an apparent wildlife encounter. On Friday, the Ministry of Community Safety confirmed it was a bear attack. Conservation officers located and euthanized the bear they suspected to be involved. That bear is now on its way to the Western College of Veterinary Medicine at the University of Saskatchewan for a necropsy. There's still plenty of information we don't know and might never learn about, like the circumstances around the bear encounter. RCMP have not released information about the victims and are no longer involved, since the deaths are not considered suspicious. The Saskatchewan Conservation Officers Service and the Coroner's Service are taking over. While bear attacks are considered rare in Saskatchewan, this is the second deadly incident this year. In May, a 27-year-old man was killed by a bear at a uranium exploration site near the Northwest Territories border. The province says this investigation is still underway and there will not be any further updates at this time. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A Saskatoon man has lost his appeal to have a judge overturn a designation as a dangerous offender. In 2021, Joseph Yaremko was found guilty of sexual assault with a weapon and forcible confinement after he invaded a stranger's home, confined and threatened her, and sexually assaulted her. The judge designated Yaremko as a dangerous offender, and he was sentenced to an indeterminate period of incarceration. Yaremko appealed the dangerous offender designation, but it was dismissed by the Saskatchewan Court of Appeal. In the decision, the judge said the court relied on the considerable number of convictions for breach offenses, and Yaremko has a long record of violating conditions of release from custody and refusing treatment or failing to complete programming. A Nipawin man has been charged with forcible confinement and sexual interference after luring a teenaged girl through social media. RCMP say a man was communicating with the girl online, and on July 12th, he met her on the Atakakoop Cree Nation. He then took her in his vehicle and left the community. The girl was found and the man arrested at a home in Nipawin 2 hours after police were called. 22-year-old Dran McKay appeared in court yesterday to face the charges. The National Police Federation is thanking the community of Melville for its fundraising efforts to help two seriously injured RCMP officers and their families. The Federation says the community's generosity during a fundraiser last weekend is a powerful reminder that RCMP members and their families are never alone during difficult times. The two officers were shot and seriously injured while responding to a call in Melville last month. The man accused of the 2 counts of attempted murder and other charges in the shooting remains in custody and is scheduled to be back in court next week. The Reeve for the RM of Big River says the local sawmill curtailing production will have a major impact on the community. The mill's operator says it has to pause operations because of challenges facing the lumber industry. Stacey Hine now on what the mill means to the area.
This sawmill is a major employer in Big River. Now plans to curtail production on October 16th are expected to leave 117 people without work, sending ripple effects through the community.
The impact on the community is definitely going to it's going to be far-reaching.
RM of Big River Reeve, Clint Panter, says local businesses and schools could also be affected if people leave the area. The town of Big River has about 700 residents, while the surrounding RM has just under 1,000. But Panter says the community has faced this situation before and found ways to adapt.
The last time the sawmill shut down, it gave an opportunity for some diversification. A lot of development started in the municipality. There was a lot of entrepreneurial activity that got rolling.
The sawmill's operator, Carrier Forest Products, says the decision is due to weak market conditions, the declining Canadian dollar, and the impact of last year's wildfire season, which significantly reduced timber supply.
It's devastating to our members and obviously the community.
United Steelworkers representative Jeff Bromley says numerous mills in BC have faced similar challenges, with U.S. import charges of about 45% on Canadian dimension lumber.
That is extremely, extremely difficult to manage, and Carrier Lumber has done a really good job of managing it so far. So there hasn't been any layoffs or curtailments over the past number of years. And that's why this is so surprising.
At this point, Carrier Forest Products says the facility closure is not permanent and remains committed to reviewing options to resume operations in the future. As for Big River, Reeve Clint Panter says the community is resilient and he's optimistic about its future. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The province and the federal government are working together to keep 2 Saskatchewan research farms operational. The 2 governments have signed a memorandum of understanding to keep the centres at Indian Head and Scott operational under the guidance of the province. Earlier this year, Ottawa announced plans to close the 2 research centres which were no longer needed for federal programs. The Indian Head facility was established in 1886, the Scott facility in 1910. The Western College of Veterinary Medicine says it will resume caring for wildlife the 3rd week of August. The college had decided to close its zoo, exotics, and wildlife service between July 22nd and August 17th because of lack of specialized staff. Some students worried the clinic would not reopen, impacting their studies. Today, it announced that all regularly provided services would resume once the clinic's specialists return to work on August 18th. Another 2 tornadoes have been confirmed in Saskatchewan this year, bringing the total to 32. The Northern Tornadoes Project says the 2 were confirmed from Friday, July 10th. The first touching down near Prudhoe. The second was near Plunkett. Both are rated EF0 and caused minor damages, throwing some trees, fencing, and other debris. The second tornado had higher wind speeds and sent an unanchored grain bin rolling about 185 meters into a nearby pond. Saskatchewan Premier Scott Moe spent some time in areas hit hard by floods in eastern Saskatchewan this week.
Up in the northeast, up in Kenora, Kamsack, Norquay, a number of other communities here have been impacted by the flood.
The Premier posting this video online yesterday after the government announced changes to the Provincial Disaster Assistance Program. The changes are retroactive to April 1st, meaning residents and small businesses in communities hit by flooding this year are eligible for the higher compensation limits. 4 jurisdictions remain under states of emergency due to flooding. Well, Jeff, your weekend forecast has a bit of everything almost.
Boy, does it. We've got ourselves an interesting bouillabaisse of items, and it all has to do with the instability. I know we use that term a lot, but it really does indicate exactly what we're having to deal with, try to deal with in terms of predictions. Right now, we have these systems moving up out of the panhandle in Idaho and parts of Montana, and coming across the foothills of Alberta and moving through. And as they do, it depends on what track these storms are going to take. So they're not massive storms that are going to have a huge wingspan, but where they impact will be significant, and we'll have more details on that later on.
The annual Métis celebration Back to Batoche is back. And amid the celebration, there are serious talks about self-governance. CTV's Laura Woodward has that story.
Back to Batoche 2026. Make some noise, ladies and gentlemen!
Considered the largest outdoor Indigenous festival in Canada, the 56th annual Back to Batoche opened with dancers, drummers, and singers. held at the site of the 1885 Battle of Batoche, the gathering celebrates Métis history, culture, and identity.
Everybody's helping everybody. We're all just sitting and chatting. We find out we have new cousins and new family. We love it.
Through every generation.
This year's celebration comes as Métis Nation Saskatchewan moves closer to a self-government treaty with Ottawa.
Self-government treaty gives us the authority and jurisdiction of who we are to govern ourselves as a Métis people.
Canada's Minister of Crown Indigenous Relations says both sides have now finalized a draft agreement.
It's an important milestone today of having that draft agreement that's going to start going through the next steps.
The president of Métis Nation Saskatchewan had hoped the treaty process would be further along.
Today was supposed to be the day we initial with the federal government. There's a few hiccups happening.
You know, these things happen, but it's not stopping. We will succeed.
The draft treaty now enters the federal approval process before it goes to Métis citizens for community engagement and a vote. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Batoche.
The University Bridge will not reopen as expected by the end of the month. The city announcing today that it will remain closed to general traffic for what it calls the near term. It says the delay is to ensure emergency vehicles can get to the hospitals along College Drive. When the bridge does reopen, there will be traffic restrictions on it and parts of College with one lane open in each direction. The work is part of arch repair on the bridge and work required as part of the Rapid Transit project. The city had initially estimated the bridge would be open mid-June, but has said the delays up until now have been weather-related. And you can expect more detours downtown starting next week. Water main work will begin on 25th Street East between Spadina Crescent East and 1st Avenue North on Monday as part of the next phase of the city's downtown water main lining project. The work is expected to continue through mid to late October. The city says crews will try to maintain traffic flow where possible, but temporary street and intersection closures may be required. Work to replace water mains and storm sewers on 4th Avenue between 24th and 25th Streets is still ongoing and is expected to be done by mid-August. The city of Prince Albert says the water treatment plant continues to operate within established parameters despite some residents experiencing water discoloration. On June 30th, the city said changes in the North Saskatchewan River led to higher levels of naturally occurring organic material entering the water treatment process. That resulted in temporary discoloration of tap water. In an update yesterday, the city says the water leaving the treatment plant meets or exceeds water quality requirements. Residents dealing with discolored water can report the issue to the city's Solutions Hub. A Regina mosque that received backlash for publicly broadcasting a call to prayer last month says it wants to connect with the community. As Jacob Carr tells us, the mosque held an in-person public survey today, receiving both support and concern.
The Regina City Jamia Masjid welcomed any and all Regina residents to take part in their survey regarding their publicly broadcast call to prayer, which they first conducted last month.
We thought that our neighbors are the first priority, so they are the one to decide whether or not we will be able to continue with the call to prayer. So that is why we are arranging an open house like a survey, so they decide what they want.
Many coming to participate in the survey and put their thoughts down on paper. Last month's broadcast sparking some online backlash and negative comments, which struck a chord with some.
I think we need to speak up and show that there are people that do support, multi-faiths, and that we're in support of our neighbors and stuff. And these people are part of Canada.
Others saying the mosque went through the proper channels and should be able to exercise their right to religious freedom.
They went through the process of having the noise bylaw to have so they could do their call to prayer. So they're not doing anything wrong. So good to them.
City Councillor Dan Rashevich was on hand, saying he has heard concerns from those within his ward.
I believe in freedom of religion. I believe people should be able to practice whatever they want. But I think keep it within your church, keep it within your mosque, keep it within the walls of your church.
Another resident concerned the call to prayer might create a domino effect.
I feel this is very precedent setting. It's one mosque asking for one time, but we have more than one mosque in the city. The practice is 5 times in Islamic countries.
Rahman says after all surveys are collected, they will be emailed to the Regina Police Service before a final decision is made on whether or not to continue the broadcasts in the future. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
The Royal Canadian Legion has hit the century mark, celebrating its anniversary today. The organization was formed following the First World War to meet the needs of veterans. As Wayne Mantika tells us, the anniversary had special significance in Regina, home to Legion Branch Number 1.
An honor guard and pipe band led a march to the cenotaph in the heart of downtown Regina to commemorate the 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Legion.
Longevity and showing the success of an organization that has been around a lot longer than all of us and has survived many ups and downs, and the continuation of being one of the most important veterans assistance programs in our country.
Henry Subchishin led the parade. He served for 33 years in the regular and reserve forces.
When I was over in Afghanistan, that's the only people that ever sent us anything. They sent me a Christmas package. It was just a care package, but it was kind of nice to get this thing, you know. And I was thinking, you know, why not? When I get back, I'll have to look into the Legion again. The Legion also plays a role in teaching the next generation.
I think it's for honoring the people who sacrificed themselves for Regina.
The Legion has 1,350 branches across Canada and more than 350,000 members. Regina was designated as branch number 1, although there is debate about whether it actually was the first Legion branch.
Regina branch was in the top 2, we'll put it that way. But it wasn't necessarily the first branch.
It might not be possible to say which Legion branch was the first in Canada, but when it comes to meeting the needs of veterans, the Legion says all branches are number 1. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Still to come, Canada and Mexico talk trade. Also, the new tensions lingering in the air between Canada and the U.S. You're watching CTV News Live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand met with her Mexican counterpart in Ottawa today. It was the Foreign Secretary's first official visit to Canada. The meeting was focused on advancing shared priorities. As Rachel Aiello reports, trade was inevitably the main topic given the looming CUSMA talks.
A show of alignment today between Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister and Mexico's Foreign Secretary.
Mexico is a critical partner for Canada.
Though despite her Mexican counterpart asserting the two countries don't have any areas of friction,
we only have areas of opportunities.
Both are bracing for tense trade talks with the Americans, where they are trying to iron out different issues, an effort the Mexicans appear further ahead on.
Very difficult to compare the progress on those substantive points as a whole.
The U.S. has triggered annual reviews of the Trilateral Trade Pact, rather than the 16-year CUSMA renewal both Canada and Mexico wanted. Today, the Mexican foreign minister wouldn't say whether he'd be willing to cut a new deal with Donald Trump alone.
Whenever it's necessary, we also consult with each other. But of course, there are many issues with which we need to communicate directly with the United States.
One such issue for Canada, the Gordie Howe Bridge. Amid continued confusion over what was agreed to see it open, today the Conservatives called out the Prime Minister for what Pierre Poilievre characterized as contradictory statements, calling on Mark Carney to release the deal so Canadians can see for themselves what you negotiated away.
I think in due time it will come out, but right now it's likely just a negotiation tactic.
Minister Anand said today that as talks heat up, Canada will keep working on all fronts to strengthen both bilateral ties as well as the North American relationship as a whole. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
Another controversial speech by U.S. President Donald Trump has accused China of the largest compromise of election data in history, accessing millions of voter files starting during the 2020 election cycle. In a prime-time address, Trump alleged a cover-up by officials in his own first administration.
My administration is in the process of notifying the states whose election data was compromised by the People's Republic of China and many others. We will be working closely to mitigate any harm, and we're taking swift action to ensure that sensitive voter data is better protected so we can never be bought, we can never be hacked, and we can never watch a stolen election again.
The president provided no new evidence in his speech, despite claiming there were going to be blockbuster revelations. Trump has frequently raised long-debunked theories, blaming election fraud for his loss to Joe Biden 6 years ago. Critics say Trump is trying to revive false claims about previous elections in order to delegitimize the upcoming U.S. midterm elections. A spokesperson for the Chinese embassy in Washington says Beijing, quote, has never and will never interfere in the presidential elections of the U.S. The Canadian wildfire smoke is not only making the air dangerous in Canada, 18 U.S. states are being affected, and the blame game has already begun. The U.S. president now threatening tariffs over it. With more, here is Joy Malbon in Washington.
Millions of Americans woke up to this. Cities shrouded in smoke and haze from the wildfires. Chicago, Detroit, and Washington, three of the most polluted cities. You can barely see the capital. The air quality, a code purple. And that's not good.
It smells like a campfire. I've been in and out of a car just taking care of errands this morning, and my throat is already sore. And my eyes are itching.
I'm wearing a mask because the air quality is very low from the wildfires coming from Ontario in Canada.
It was only a matter of time before some Americans began to blame Canada for the unhealthy air. The U.S. president said he's holding Canada responsible, calling it willful negligence, and says he will add the cost of this pollution to the tariffs Canada is currently paying. Ohio's Republican Senator Bernie Moreno threatened to sanction Canada and the responsible Canadian government officials for this atrocity. The wildfire smoke so enraged four Michigan Republicans, they sent a scathing letter to the Prime Minister claiming Canada hadn't managed its forests to prevent the fires. Ontario's Premier is pushing back.
I truly believe the Americans are good neighbors. If there's some politicians out there chirping away, well, maybe what you should do rather than complain is send support.
And ask the experts. They say it's not who, but what is to blame.
Until we cut that fossil fuel use down to zero and start actually stop the warming and start the cooling, we will face this. So it's ridiculous to blame Canada.
For the U.S. states affected, some relief this weekend. Rain and thunderstorms are in the forecast, and that will help clear the air. Joy Malbon, CTV News, Washington.
A powerful earthquake has struck off Mexico's south coast near the border with Guatemala. The 7.3 magnitude quake was felt across a widespread area from Mexico City to El Salvador. Mexican authorities say coastal areas are being monitored for a potential tsunami. Video shows damage to some structures, but casualties have yet to be reported in either Mexico or Guatemala.
Hey, it's Carter Lucas from the Saskatoon Water Ski Club. We're hosting Westerns this weekend from the 17th to 19th, starting with Jabalaba tonight and doing slalom and trick tomorrow. Hosting kids from all four provinces, competing across all three events. It's going to be a blast, so come check it out at Above Water Sports.
So, Jeff, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, it's going to be a bit unsettled. I know I've been using it a lot, haven't I? Well, that's the situation we roll into tomorrow. Right now, we expect the morning when things start to get rolling around 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Things might actually be okay, but the wind is going to pick up, and there's a possibility of some storms rolling through. So I'm sure safety will be the top priority out there. But 28 degrees for a daytime high, mid-afternoon. We might see some wind. We might see some wind gusts, depending on which model we look at. Could be as strong as 50 kilometers kilometers an hour. Could be as light as around 30 in terms of those wind gusts. And as I mentioned, a slight chance of showers as we make our way through the day. So fingers crossed that the weather cooperates for the Western Canadian Championships. So let's take a look. 28 degrees right now in Saskatoon, 29 in Prince Albert, 28 in the Battlefords. And as you can see, mainly sunny skies in Saskatoon, but a little less cloudy, a little more cloudy in Prince Albert, but big time sunshine in the Battlefords. The almanac for Saskatoon. 30 big degrees today. That's 5 degrees above seasonal. 40, though. That's the record set in 1919. And the cold temperature record from 17 years earlier, that was 2 degrees in 1902. And the sun is going to go down at 9:19.
Coming up, diving in to save lives. So look at the tools being used to pull people from the water.
In Canadian country music are coming to Saskatchewan. On the next Your Morning, Pure Country host and nominee herself, Shannon Ella, is joining us to talk about the upcoming show in Saskatoon.
All right, let's take a look through the live lens of Skycam. Well, things are looking pretty nice right now. Wispy clouds, mostly sunny skies, and it is hot. It was hotter earlier today, but it's still very warm, so be careful out there. Let's take a look at the situation with our satellite and radar shot here. As you can see, a lot of active weather along the mountain ranges into the United States and Canada. And on the eastern side of the Rockies, we get into the foothills, and these storms starting to slide up into Saskatchewan. And so there are some watches and warnings. We're going to show you those in a second or two, but let's just recap the current temperatures. 28 in Saskatoon and the Battlefords, 29 in Prince Albert. The hot spot in the province, that was Maple Creek at a big 35 degrees today. Key Lake, the cold spot at 8. Around the province we go. First of all, in the larger communities, 29 degrees in Lloydminster, 31 in Speedy Creek, 28 in Regina, 29 in York, and 27 in Estevan. In central Saskatchewan and parts of the northern Grain Belt, temperatures ranging from 27 degrees in Melfort and Hudson Bay up to 30 in both Rosetown and Meadow Lake. Up north, it's hot there too. Temperatures in the mid-20s to low 30s, and that low 30 being 30 in La Ronge. And down south, yes, temperatures are ranging a little bit here from 27 degrees in Carlisle up to 33 in Maple Creek. A number of communities at 30 degrees or warmer. And if you're not at 30, you're darn close to it. All right, let's take a look at the futurecast. So here you go. We've got this instability out there, and there's this line of storms sort of sliding across the border. It tends to ring itself out as we make our way into the early morning of the day. But in behind it, there's another couple of cells brewing up. So we have to keep our eye on all of these things. It's a moving target as we make our way into the next day. So right now, we do have some watches in effect. We did have a warning in and around the Chaplin area that has since been dropped by Environment Canada. But right now, there are severe thunderstorm watches in effect. Look at that. The tornado warning is brewing up there. Well, that's a thunderstorm warning, but just north of that in parts of Alberta. But we're concentrating on Saskatchewan right now, just to let you know the watches are around basically Gull Lake to Moose Jaw, down to Coronach, and then on toward the eastern side of the province, Hudson Bay, Kenora, York, and Melville. Those areas are under severe thunderstorm watch right now. And of course, you can see lots of heat warnings in effect for the 4 western provinces and parts of the north as well. La Ronge, 29 degrees tomorrow, 30 in Stony Rapids, 28 in Buffalo Narrows, 31 in Key Lake. Temperatures in the high 20s, low 30s for west central Saskatchewan. Spiritwood, a chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm. Mainly cloudy skies in the southwest tomorrow with temperatures at 30 degrees and above, and a similar temperature pattern in and around 30 degrees with mainly cloudy skies in southeastern Saskatchewan and east central Saskatchewan. Mid to high 20s and low 30s for temperatures and a chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm in Watrous. Showers anticipated, or at least a chance of that in Melfort. Slight chance of showers and a risk of a thunderstorm for the Battlefords. Maybe 2 to 4 millimeters of rain tomorrow with windy conditions in the Battlefords. And then another unsettled day on Sunday, starting off your work week at 24, but then warming back up to warm temperatures. Hot, dare I say, Thursday, 29, yeah. For Prince Albert, 13 degrees overnight, a slight chance of showers tomorrow with a high of 27. Cooling off a little bit, but that's pretty much seasonal. And then as we roll into next week, warming up again. And finally, Saskatoon. And we've got ourselves a temperature of 18 degrees with increasing clouds. Tomorrow's high, 28. As I mentioned about the water skiing, a chance of some showers, risk of a thunderstorm connected to that as well. 26 with windy conditions on Sunday, starting off your work week at 25, and then slowly warming up to 29 on Thursday and Friday.
People pass me in the street. They see me, but they try to ignore me. They prefer I wasn't part of their city.
Oscar-winning actress Brenda Fricker has died. Fricker appeared in more than 90 films and television shows over her 6-decade-long career, including as a homeless woman in Home Alone 2 and the mother in My Left Foot. It was that latter role for which she won an Academy Award, making her the first Irish actress to do so. Her agent said Fricker died last night in Dublin following a period of poor health. She was 81 years old. More people than ever will soon be able to enjoy the wonderful world of Disney. The House of the Mouse announced it is rolling out 17 new languages on Disney+. That includes Arabic, Croatian, Hebrew, Thai, and Hindi, just to name a few. That brings the total number of supported languages to 58. The company also said it's introducing right-to-left interface designed for languages such as Arabic and Hebrew. Navigating the platform is available in fewer languages, but still includes more than 24. Ouch, that's gotta sting. One of the most famous props from our Star Wars film franchise has sold for a record-breaking and, dare I say, breathtaking price. A number that might surprise even Jabba the Hutt. Luke Skywalker's lightsaber and severed hand from The Empire Strikes Back has fetched $3.75 million US at an auction. The sale price far exceeded pre-auction estimates and sets a new record for a screen-used Star Wars prop.
Which apparently includes the hand.
It does.
So bonus.
I think that is a bonus. Otherwise, it's just another lightsaber.
All right, speaking of bonus, we have a special edition of Pick of the Day.
We certainly do, and we'll start with just 3 pictures, but boy, we got a surprise for you. First of all, we're going to start off with this one. This is from King Kwan. Hi, Jeff, I wanted to share these pillow clouds taken from my deck at Chittick Lake. King tells us this was taken on July 12th, and pillow clouds works for me, but for those scoring at home, I believe they're called mammatus clouds. This one comes to us from Joanne Lisée. Congratulations to Gilles and Pauline Boisvert on celebrating an incredible 70 years of marriage. Love from your 7 children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. Now, Joanne tells us that they were married on July 17th. Keep that in mind. 70th wedding anniversary on July 17th. Next picture. This one's from Lorraine. There we go. No, this one's, this one's from Joanne. Well, we got them mixed up backwards. The one we just saw was from Lorraine. This is from Joanne. Lorraine also, let's go back to the other picture. Can we go back to the other picture? There we go. So Lorraine tells us that on July 17th, we're celebrating our parents, Denis and Charmant Charlebois, 70th wedding anniversary. Mom and Dad were married in a double wedding with our aunt and Uncle Claudette and Elva Godbout, who reside in Red Deer, Alberta. Happy 70th anniversary, Mom and Dad, Uncle and Auntie. Love from your kids. So both these pictures, we have 2 couples that were married on July 17th, and I guess it's 3 technically, and they're celebrating their 70th anniversary. We've been doing these pictures of the day for a long time, but it's so rare to have this sort of serendipity. So thank you for sharing those images with us, and congratulations to both the couples. And if you'd like to share an image with us, you could do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca.
Still to come on CTV News, when minutes matter. A look at ways Saskatchewan rescue teams are diving in to save lives.
Your Morning Minute, presented by Sask Oil Seeds.
Well, the sun is shining on this canola field with Ian up at Sask Oil Seeds. Ian, how's this crop looking right now?
It looks really good for mid-July. We've had decent moisture. We've had full flower. It looks gorgeous from the road. It looks good.
I like that. What are farmers looking for to keep it looking good in terms of controllable aspects?
Lots of disease. Wet crops or lots of rain. Big crops means lots of disease, so farmers are controlling for disease right now. They're also looking for some late season insects, which could be a problem between now and harvest.
And if you had a wish list to really take this crop that's looking good now into a bumper crop, what's on it?
Nice sunny days, but not too hot. Just kind of keep the moisture, a little bit of moisture, but just kind of a little bit of everything in moderation to keep it all the way.
Perfect. Pick when you get your rain and click over to saskoilseeds.com for more information. You can watch CTV Your Morning Saskatchewan. It airs Monday to Friday on CTV and Crave.
Typically averages about 25 water-related deaths per year. It's a Reality One Saskatchewan water rescue team hopes to help reduce. Mick Favel takes us to a demonstration and training day at Echo Lake, where some modern technology behind water rescues was on display.
When someone is struggling in the water, minutes and even seconds matter. This rescue drill is taking place at Echo Lake. A remote-controlled flotation device is deployed, zooming across the water to the person in distress. The aquatic drone can do more than just help them float. It can also propel them back to shore.
This is an absolute game changer. We can get this faster out to a drowning victim than any rescue swimmer can actually get out to them.
The device is called the Dolphin 3. It's the newest piece of equipment on hand in case of an emergency for the Amphibious Response Support Unit 1. There are many different types of rescue situations they may come across. This rescue tube is able to support a number of people in case a boat capsizes far from shore.
You do have to definitely keep an eye on the weather. And, you know, it's a little lake, but there's some big winds here, and it doesn't take a lot of water for you to get into trouble in strong wind and wave conditions.
Sadly, sometimes a rescue mission turns into a recovery operation. Mosque is using an underwater sonar device to find anomalies with precision and possibly the body of a drowning victim. The support unit partners with Echo Valley Provincial Park, along with the Fort Capel Fire Department, both of whom were on hand to see the demonstrations.
The big city fire departments offer these services, and when citizens come out to the lake here, they expect the same services, so we found it beneficial to offer water rescue in this area.
The Amphibious Response Support Unit is on call in case of an emergency, but say serious incidents can be prevented if those on the water wear a life jacket. Mosque says having access to the Dolphin is going to help his organization greatly in future rescue missions. He suggests towns, lakefront communities, and rescue teams look into purchasing one.
Any place where there may be a risk of drowning that could occur, because these systems are very easily deployable and they don't need a lot of training to be used successfully.
The Amphibious Response Support Unit encourages the public to practice safe boating and take care around the water in hopes the unit's rescue services will not be needed, but they're on standby just in case, ready to spring into action. Mick Favel, CTV News, Echo Lake.
When we come back, a Saskatchewan plant back in operation, what it means for the local economy, and later when watching the World Cup becomes your job.
Here's what's happening in our community. Back to Batoche, a celebration of Métis identity, resilience, and community is set for July 16th through 19th at Batoche National Historic Site. July 17th, 18th, and 19th, Saskatoon will be hosting the 2026 Western Canadian Water Ski Championships. Over 50 athletes will be competing in 3 events: slalom, jump, and tricks. You can submit your community event by visiting our website and clicking on Community Calendar, or scan the QR code on your screen. All right, time to take a look at the rural forecast as we roll into Saturday. And yeah, unsettled. I know it's an up and down situation. Looks like along the Yellowhead is where we expect to see a lot of the active weather, the possibility of showers, risk of a thunderstorm, some really warm temperatures. Look at that, Kindersley, 32 degrees tomorrow, 26 for Melfort, not bad. For Hudson Bay and area, 30 degrees, 28 in Wynyard, and then making our way down south. Well, as you can see, we have got ourselves temperatures that are really quite hot again. 34 degrees expected high in Maple Creek, and then even as we make our way towards the eastern side of the province, temperatures don't drop off all that much, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of active weather for areas south of the Yellowhead and certainly not around the Trans-Canada. Beachy expected to hit 29 degrees tomorrow. Wind gusts up around 50 clicks. It will feel warmer than that because of the humidex value, but partly cloudy skies and 29, not bad. And of course, Beachy is one of those places where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from Saskatoon.
Argentina and Spain will be squaring off in Sunday's World Cup final, and fans are getting ready.
Messi. Oh, and England are in trouble. And maybe to Lautaro
Argentina is looking to become the first nation to win back-to-back World Cups since Brazil in 1962. Meanwhile, Spain will try to capture its first title since 2010. Those two teams will square off at 1 in the afternoon on Sunday, while England and France will play in the third-place match tomorrow at 3. After a half-year-long pause, the Saskatchewan-based Pulse plant is back up and running after being acquired by a European company. Damian Smith reports.
After being shut down for over 6 months in 2025, grains and pulses are being shipped out to partners in Saskatchewan from Avonlea once again.
It was hard to see it just empty. It's a great facility, and to just see it with nothing happening was tough.
In January, Agrihall Foods Industries announced its acquisition of a pulse production plant. The facility is a subsidiary of Agro Companies International, a company based out of Switzerland.
Never would have dreamt that I was working for a company in Avonlea that's, owned by Switzerland. It's crazy.
According to Agrihall Foods, they have about 40 major partners that they supply to, with all of them being around Saskatchewan.
They wanted a place to haul their lentils to, a close place, and not have to drive 2 hours away to sell their crops that are literally right beside us.
Shipping out lentils, beans, chickpeas, and oil seeds, the company aims to send out 1,000 metric tons per week.
We had people in the community that had a lot of foresight, and they wanted industry in our town.
Since the plant was built in 2003 by local farmers, the town of around 400 people is happy for the exporter to be back in business.
This is a huge part of the community. As far as the growers, this community is all it's all farmers. It's basically around here.
Damian Smith, CTV News, Avonlea.
Coming up, the duo being paid to just be football fans. Then we take you back to Batoche.
Select Hair Services brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
We've got another great night of entertainment coming up right here on CTV starting at 7 with Spring Break Murders. Well, a couple of die-hard soccer fans will be looking for a new gig as of Monday.
I've been saying that going back to normal life, it's gonna be weird. It's like this has been our routine for the past month and a half.
Kevin Okodu and Austin Franklin have been living the dream job for the past 5 weeks. They were chosen as part of a promotion to be working as chief World Cup watchers for the U.S. broadcast. On game days, they've sat to watch every World Cup game in a glass cube in Times Square in New York City. Even better, they made $50,000 each to do it.
Wow.
Not a bad gig at all.
Not bad at all.
Looks like they could bring some friends.
Well, looks that way indeed. Well, why not? Hey, we wanted to let people know that we do have some watches and warnings in effect. And just recently, a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings popped up, and that is in and around the Herbert and Cadet areas. And once again, my apologies to the Boisvert and Charlevoix couples for getting their pictures mixed up.
But happy anniversary, nonetheless.
Absolutely.
It's a great milestone.
Quite the milestone. Hey, like I said before, the 70th anniversary, both on the 17th of July. Crazy.
It is kind of crazy. Wonder what their secret to success is.
We'll have to find out.
Maybe
they'll tell us.
Well, earlier we showed you the celebrations of Métis culture. We want to take you back to Batoche now, where one of our photographers, Daniel Shingoose, captured some of the highlights of the day. Back to Batoche runs through until Sunday. We'll leave you with this. Have a great and happy weekend.